I don't believe it. That's Clone Force 99.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting.
Ha! We're all you need!
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 39. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. Star Wars Visions premiered last week, and we've got the first of our weekly interviews just ahead. May the 4th was last week, too, and we've got some recaps to go over. My name is Steven Schultz, and I am your host in the pilot seat today. And with us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, he's watched all of the Fast and Furious movies, so he knows a thing or two about family. It's Joe Lara. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, and I'm trying not to laugh because apparently I laugh too much. So
What?
No,
That's
not possible.
Who said that?
Who said that?
This is me being stoic. No, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. No, it was good. So there was so much that we're going to cover, I'm sure, in the show. But did do 2 troops on Saturday because I couldn't troop on May the 4th, unfortunately. But it was good. It was both of them were libraries. Tons of kids, free comic books, all kinds of really good, just, dude, making people smile, man. That is the absolute best, wearing these costumes. And wore a TK, which always crushes it. Guaranteed crushes it, because you're going to make adults giggle and want to do selfies and all that.
Why aren't you at your post, though?
Dude, I was at the library. Okay.
Oh,
But yeah, it was good times. And then also getting ready to go visit Texas here shortly in a couple of days. My sister is getting her master's degree, so there's a graduation celebration.
Congratulations.
West Texas. Good for her. And so I'll be out there just for a few days, celebrate Mother's Day with Kim's mom, my mom, that kind of thing. And then I'll head back a little sooner.
Dude, I'm going to be in Texas in 2 weeks. We're like this.
Yeah, but dude, Texas is massive. Texas is
That's true.
Like I'm in West Texas, which is almost New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And then where are you going? Dallas? What?
Oh,
You're muted, Brian.
he's going to mute town.
Austin.
Oh,
Austin.
okay. Awesome.
Read his lips.
Yeah.
I'll be in Dallas in a couple weeks, for what it's
Dude,
worth.
this is crazy. And I'll be in Cali next week. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be
Crazy.
Oh, we got some plans for next week, Brian.
Uh-oh. I'll talk later.
Oh,
We're getting tattoos. We're getting matching tattoos.
Hey, Joe, when you suit up as a TK, do you get into do you have a persona that you fall into?
Oh, yeah. Like, so there's a lot of people that have the TK costume, and I swear you must invest in the ICOM, the whole vocal sound. That
For our listeners that don't know, TK is a stormtrooper.
Yep.
well, and the ICOM is the little box that gives the little static bursts when you talk.
So it's an amplified voice through speakers, but then that little clicking sound, which is reminiscent of what we're all familiar with. So it's a sound that we've all heard since 1977. Everybody on the planet
Set to stun.
can recognize it. And that's what makes it so much fun, because they look at me. Oh, dude, and I got this one person really good. I was standing at the front entrance of the library, not moving a muscle, just completely standing there. And this person walked around the corner, and they're looking at me, and they're thinking it's a statue. Oh, I was like, yes, here it comes, here it comes. Excuse me, do you have any idea? And she screamed so loud, like so loud. I was like, got him. And then other people saw it, and it was so funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Let's see. His follower count is more volatile than the stock market. It's Remy Shanade.
Shanade.
Oh gosh. How many weeks are we going to have that going?
It's so good.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here. Had a busy, long weekend. It was great though. Started May the 4th out at Indy Speeders School, and it was raining, and we kind of liked it better because like on the Beskar armor, the rain looks really epic.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
you know, so I got to see the little kids, and they were all amazing, and got to have some cool folks that trooped with us, which was cool. Followed that up, and sorry, Clayton, for going to hang out with the enemies, but CBS had me come over and hang out with them to do a bit on the 501st for the news, the local news here. So that was fun too.
Dude, you absolutely crushed it on that interview thing.
Professional.
Because like, yeah, I mean, at one point it looked like you were hosting the segment instead of them.
Yeah, so they came out at the beginning, and they were a little so we're a little light on content, but we were going to cut over to the Carrie Fisher star unveiling thing, and I said, oh, well, we've actually got stormtroopers that are part of the 501st that are there for that, and then so of course Nick and Terry were there with me, and they're like, hey, if you want Remy to talk about that, he can help you. So then all of a sudden they're like bringing another director's chair out and lining it up with everybody, and I'm like, oh god.
You provided so much context to that. Like they were just like, "Oh, Carrie Fisher's getting a star of the Walk of Fame." And you're like, "Do you know that across the street is her mother's?" And
it was because of this, because we had covered it, and so all I did was I pulled up my show notes from last week's episode because I had everything ready to go.
It's like you've been practicing and getting ready for that one moment.
All I had to do was pull it up. I mean, I knew what number her star was and everything.
Oh,
so
dude, that's the Force working in mysterious ways, right?
It was funny. So,
and you represented everybody, because I mean, LA is popular news. Like a lot of people all over the world actually tune into the LA news sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
and I know Legion PR was excited about that, so they've got copies of the videos and pictures and stuff now, so they're blasting it out. And then on Saturday we did the Galaxy game.
Oh, yeah,
you, Steven, and
yeah, it was good seeing you there, man.
Yeah, and then we helped some friends with a little thing called Mosh Isley, which was sort of like the after party for the Galaxy game. I think it was that I don't think that crowd quite knew what to do with us.
Yeah,
but it was a good dry run for SDCC, which will be epic.
That Mosh Isley that the Galaxy had was like, it was like the tailgate party of the parking lot of the event that is Mosh Isley. Like it was not even a preview of what's to come, or what typically goes on.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was just a different venue that wasn't really ready for it, I think.
Still fun though. It was still fun.
Yeah, and people still got into it. People that weren't with the crew, with the group, like some regular fans, they were into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
He's about 20% chrome, so I guess that makes him 40 proof Alumiluster. It's John Rodriguez.
That sounds about
What's up, man?
Sounds about right.
Okay, yeah. 40 proof.
We don't quite know what to do with that one.
Yeah.
You may
proceed. Yeah, you may proceed.
It was good seeing you on Saturday with that troop, dude.
Yeah, that was a fun troop. It felt super casual. Usually those events, they're called high profile events, and usually you have to be, I mean, we were on our best behavior, but you have to be like absolutely on your best behavior. You have to look sharp. You're in a big place that's with a lot of eyes on you. But it felt very casual and very loose and very fun. Yeah. And not only that, there was the 501st and the clubs, but there were also like influencers and people like friends of ours that are not in the clubs were also there in costume. And
it probably had like a celebration feel then, right? More of a feel.
Yeah. But like at an event that's not Star Wars, like literally you're at a soccer game and you see all your friends like you're at a convention, but people are getting pictures with you, and there's food, and it was super fun. Yeah. And Mosh Isley was cool too. It got a little hot, and I took Steven's Pondababa, and it got really warm in there, so I had to keep taking it off. And
he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
And you know what? I gotta say, we have probably the best fans for the show, because there was just so many random fans coming up to me saying, "Hey, Stevie Kicks, let me get a picture with you." And oh my God, it's Alpha Ignition. That was fun.
Well, yeah. Usually, if I
not
wear the
John
Stormtrooper,
Rodriguez?
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, usually where I wear the Stormtrooper, people don't know it's me because it's just a generic
That's why it's
costume.
so
You know,
good.
it's
That's why
kind of
it's so
cool.
good.
Yeah, I like that because you can just be completely anonymous. Because if I wear the any of the hunter costumes, it's immediate. You know, oh, there you are.
Recognition.
So that was
undercover hunter.
yeah. Basically, it's like Kanan in disguise, but for real. But yeah, everything's good. Been working on stuff. Oh, I was gonna say something. Oh, okay. No. I'll say it in a future segment. We're good. Yeah.
Right on. Watch out, Mark Zuckerberg. He's coming for you. It's Jiu-Jitsu Master Brian Cook.
Dude, the Zuck ain't got nothing on me, dude. I'll fold him into a pretzel in 2 seconds.
Brian, what belt are you?
Purple.
So when do you get the red belt?
Purple's
There's
like
no red
Windu.
belt.
It's like above a black belt, right?
Black
There's
belt?
a coral belt that's above a black belt, but that's like you need to be very old and
You got a Windu belt.
probably Brazilian to have a coral
Bendu
belt.
belt.
There's not
Bendu
very
belt.
many coral belts.
Oh no, yeah.
But I would fold the Zuck into a pretzel. Gladly. I'm good. So unlike you guys, I did not get the troop on the 4th. We talked about that last time, but I have seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3 2 times, and if you have not seen it, I urge you, John. I'm going to tell you constantly to please go see it.
I know. I'll see it eventually.
Make time. Make time.
When
You
it's
can
on
make
the
time.
app.
I know.
We'll have a
know.
conversation about that probably.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, I was a little FOMO, you guys. You know, all the 3/5 of the boys together, especially with the Thank the Maker and our boy Mike Hondo Supply. So that was Armor Party podcast. So man, that was the one thing I was like, dang, those guys are all having a good time. So a little bit of fun. But I was glad
It was
that you
good
guys were all
seeing.
together.
Yeah,
that was sick. So
it's good seeing Mike. He never comes out. Yeah.
I've been driving for 8 hours today, so I made it in time. I'm here. So Charleston
Cool.
back today. That was
Wow.
Jeez, man.
Yep. Be in Cali next week. Talk about that.
Lads, we've got company. You want to sit with us? That's never happened before.
He's an award-winning broadcast journalist, producer, visual storyteller, and co-author of the new book, Star Wars Timelines. Welcome to the Marauder. It's Clayton Sandell. How are you, man?
Hey, hi guys.
Hey.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm really sorry. I had a similar May the 4th FOMO. And that's why I couldn't join you last week. I'm very sorry. We were in LA covering the writer's strike and crazy busy. Ended up covering the reveal of Carrie's star, but didn't really get to do much else that day. In fact, I think it was it Monday or Tuesday at Dodger Stadium was Star Wars night last week, right?
I think it was Wednesday. No. Yeah, Tuesday.
And I was in my hotel room exhausted, and somebody sent me the tweet from that somebody was in the stands, and I was like, oh man, I'm missing out on this too. So anyway, it's good to be here now.
Welcome.
Very excited to be on. You guys, I was earlier flipping through some of the pictures of you guys in London. Man, nobody does it better than you guys. You guys are so damn good. It was so great.
Our London mission was to either party so hard that they want us back, or party so hard that they don't ask us back. So
how did it go?
A little bit of both, actually.
I'd say it fell right in the middle somewhere there.
Yeah.
We'll
We
let you know
split
in
the
2
difference.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you
Well,
guys
right
are
on,
great.
man. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you everybody for tuning in. If you'd like to rep your support for the show, pick up one of our limited edition t-shirts or hoodies at thedadbatch.com.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly workbench. All right, gentlemen, who is working on what?
I last week I talked about adding weathering to Kim's Mando, so she did preliminary Mando Mercs submission for her kit and got some good feedback. Needed to add some weathering. So Steven, I answered the call. I have a video that I'll give to you. It's like 2 minutes long. It's super short of how I make some. It basically looks like mud with glue and whatnot, and then application. And it came out pretty good. So we resubmitted today. Just uploaded those photos. I got the local clan approval. I think they're going to submit them up to the larger regional approval. There's all kinds of whatever. It's
wow, that's like serious business,
dude. It's serious, bro. Like Mandos don't play, but no, it's going to be good. She looks great. So that was good. And then also BFMs, man, giant magnets. I almost lost a finger.
Watch your fingers.
I got the tech backpack applied. And I finally slapped it on, took some photos, and I submitted those to Rebel Legion. So now it's kind of going through its queue of approval process for Rebel Legion because Tech Mercenary is not 501st. He's Rebel Legion. So yeah.
Who decides
Your
that?
clone. Come on.
It's Order 66 basically decides.
Moral judgment.
Raimi does.
the clubs get together and like we have to be able to show that they're a bad guy to be in the 501st. And the season 2 Bad Batch, other than Crosshair, they're all clearly anti-Empire. So they're not.
Why is Captain Rex? Both.
Because that was pre-Order 66.
That was pre-order.
Yeah, it's all relative to Order 66.
Gray area.
Poncho Rex doesn't count. Poncho Rex is only Rebel Legion.
I think the events from Order 66 on, so any characters that came out after Order 66, those are all bad guys. Because they're Empire. Right. Besides the Bad Batch, obviously, because
sounds like
and the defectors, I guess, like Hauser and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your backpack looked juicy, though. Let me tell you, look juicy.
One more thing too. I was working on a little side project that I kind of kept low key. I'm not going to talk about who it went to, but I made a special bucket for someone special, and it was Mayday. And that was a fun project to make. And I got to work with Kevin Weir's helmet. I never worked with it before. Everything I've ever done is 3D printed, or except for my other Mando buckets are, they're cast too. But a clone bucket I haven't, and it was pretty cool. But I want to get my hands on one of John's because I think the difference between Kevin's. Here's the bad part I felt about it is because Mayday's bucket is wrapped with material over the entire thing except for the face. You can't open the back.
Yeah,
to put it on.
You need a one piece.
That's not going to work. Yeah,
it's not going to work, right? So what I did is I had to basically just weld it all together. So it's just a display.
Oh, so it's just display. Wow.
Just display, yeah. And
unless they have a small head.
No, dude, you gotta have that.
You could have cut it with a razor and glued it to the insides, and
take it apart.
Yeah, but
you gotta
start over.
I told him I know, right? But I wrote in the letter, this is a display only, and they were satisfied. So it was cool because I never really done a commission. I don't do commissions, and I know why I don't, because I was like, dude, I was like meticulous.
It's stressful, dude.
No, it's fun though. It was fun, and that was a special project.
Came out great. I would have not left you behind.
Amazing.
Thank you, Crosshair.
How much time did it take you to do it?
It didn't take too much time. See, I guess it's all relative because I'm used to 3D prints, which require much more time to smooth out those printed lines.
Right.
This was it's already a beautiful replica of a clone helmet, so I just needed to prepare it and then paint it. But the wrapping part was unique. To wrap a helmet with material and then try to weather material like that.
It looked good, dude. The wrappings were tight, they weren't all loose, or they looked really good. Did
you give them a stand too from David Neff?
No, that was my Dave Meganeth stand. Yeah, that one's special because Dave gave that one to me.
100%. Yeah. That's cool. Came out really good.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's it.
I'll go. I didn't do much for people watching on the video. I fixed Fire Puncher because the barrel broke. It's over there. The barrel broke in transit, so I got that all fixed up, and my helmet's there too, which is kind of blending in. So that's it. I really didn't do anything. I did have a nice conversation. Shout out to Island Fett because he just finished an Imperial Crosshair helmet and his visor came out sick. And I asked him how he did it, and he told me how he did it, and he's going to actually send me how he did it. And he even put his camera into the helmet and filmed what he could see, because I was like, can you see out of that? Because he explained to me how he did it. And if I told you how he did it, it's basically what John does to Chrome and Go everything. And he filmed it, and he was like, look. And I was like, oh, crap, that's the camera through the lens, and he could see pretty good. So he's going to send me the instructions on that. So
Nice.
I'm going to do that because it looked really good. It's probably the one thing that's lacking on my Crosshair. So that's it. I didn't really do too much.
It's a good shout out. Island Fed. If you guys aren't following Island Fed, go follow him. I actually got a chance to meet him. He's out there in Hawaii. I was on vacation, and we connected. Good dude. We hung out for maybe like an hour. The guy is so good, and he has a really. Right? He is, and he's got a really cool style with balls of tape, and his weathering techniques are just really, they're super fun to do. Yeah, so check him out for sure.
Shout out Island Fit, check him out.
Yeah. I didn't really build much or anything for that matter. You guys know that I was hooking up the garage, organizing everything. Well, I actually took time now that all my costumes are separated and categorized nicely. I did the same thing with like all the collectibles and stuff. So I have like 2 giant piles. One is like the keep stuff, and then another pile is all the stuff that I'm going to be bringing. Yeah, basically bringing to the prop swap, which is, hey, by the way, here's a plug. Prop swap, June 3rd in Poway, California. Tickets are still available, but almost sold out. So check out Trooper Bay for the link. And I did get this on May the 4th. I finally got the hard to find Havoc Marauder Squadron. What is it?
The Squadrons?
Micro Galaxy. Been looking so hard for this, and of all days to find it on May the 4th. So
winning.
Yeah.
Mine's just as big, Steven. Look.
I'll go real quick. I was working on the last 5. I have 7 more heavies to paint out of all the heavies I've been painting. Clayton, in case you didn't know, you don't know, I've been painting. You don't know. So I'll break it down. I've been painting these helmets. I've been painting these helmets in a run, and I've had to do 50. It turned out to be 52 total. So I'm on the last 7 right now. It's been months and months and months. I've mentioned it a million times, so to keep you in the loop.
Paz Vizsla helmets.
Yeah, they're Paz Vizsla helmets signed by
from the Mandalorian.
Tate Fletcher, right?
Yeah, it comes with a plaque with the actor's signature. Yeah, but I'm down to the last 7. I've got 5 I'm working on now, and then I'm going to get 2 more, and I'll be done. So those are almost done. And I've also been slush casting helmets and shoulders and sending them out to people.
Slushing and
I still have slushing and gushing. That's right. And I've got a few more to do. But other than that,
wait a second. You said 52.
Well, it was supposed to be 54.
So there's 2 spots open?
Yeah, I think they sold the plaques. Yeah, I think so. I think they sold the plaques back to SWAU. Those guys.
Oh, okay.
Because they're the ones that got it originally. So if they're available, they should be through them. So you could probably still buy in. I would hit them up and see what.
Then John,
say. Yeah.
Then John has to make 53 instead of 50.
Yeah, well then I have to paint another helmet. Yeah.
You didn't get to keep one?
I can make one whenever.
No, but like an autographed one.
A plaque? No. Those are for people that bought in separately for something. Like
I know, but
I have to pay for that.
John. Forge it and see.
Oh, you're the artist.
Well, I want to.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want.
They're not paying John enough to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I didn't buy into the plaque itself. I think the plaque was like a significant part of the deal, But whatever. I'm gonna paint my own.
Paz Vizsla stock just like skyrocketed after that
through the roof.
Episode.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well, I've been having people hit me up for custom Pazes, and I'm like, I can't do it yet. Like I'm still finishing these, but once I'm finished with those, then I'm just gonna take orders from people that want one. Because I can do one, because I've been doing 5 at a time, so I can do one, no problem. Yeah, and that's it.
Whew. Nice.
Crushing.
So, I I printed this thing. So everybody knows, we do a lot of 3D printing. We talk about 3D printing. And so everybody knows what this thing is. This is the hot end on a 3D printer. So I printed this one.
Oh my God.
Why?
You guys laugh at me, but check this out. So
Does it work?
I was helping a friend that was having some trouble in the concept of like cleaning out the hot end and like changing the knobs and everything.
Educational purposes.
And so watch what this thing does. Joe, we lost Joe. Joe's just gone because he's 12. So
that's such a big nozzle, dude.
I can take the front pieces off of this.
No.
And
way,
you can see how everything works. So
That's
you can see the
actually
nozzle.
really
You can see how this all fits
almost
together.
Like
feel like I'm in
education
sixth
when I was in
grade.
elementary school.
No, it's like an anatomy doll. Yeah.
It's like, when you go in the doctor's office and they got
Yeah, and the organs are all in place. Yeah, and you can like pop them
This is
out.
where I hurt, doctor. It's right here.
Yeah, they're like, show me the liver.
Because we're supposed to be helping people and a source of information on this podcast, you guys.
That's amazing.
I'm
dude.
gonna do like a couple little how-tos on like how to clean the hot end out and because for example the
Brian, stop, dude.
some of the folks that we were talking to when we were going over this didn't even know that like this needs to be cut and trimmed with that little cigar cutter tool and like everything needs to be put back together. So we're gonna do that.
That's great.
That's awesome, dude.
I can't believe you printed that, dude.
Well, he's got like 60 printers. I mean, might as well. Put it
Yeah,
to
I just told the army to go, So okay, and then the other thing I want to do an unboxing of this thing.
Oh, that thing looks sick.
So this is the Kotobukiya Art FX Ronin from Visions. So
Season 1, episode 1.
Yeah, from the first season. So, and this is timely because we're doing our first episode review for season.
Did you get 5 of them? Oh, I mean 6, because Clayton's here. Did you get 6 of them?
I have the links. I will gladly share.
Oh,
This was not a cheap. This thing was not a cheap date.
You got to get rid of the cats for this. Don't have the cats nearby.
Yeah, the cats are gonna.
Yeah, he's gonna
Run
come
to
out
it.
and then for this and then go right back into the box because I don't trust the cats. So a lot of little there's so many little accessories with this thing. So the sword and everything, and I don't even want to take it out right now. But
yeah. See, trying to open that.
all the little tabards that are like flying off of him, and like all the strands and strings off of his robes.
Heck yeah.
So I got a box cutter.
That's
you're
gonna
gonna
come
do
in
it?
handy.
Oh.
This is the problem with actual unboxing is that I haven't actually opened this yet. So you guys got to
Please don't drop it, Raimi.
I won't.
It's an authentic unboxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, not a pre-staged.
Oh, this
What's it
is
smell
sick.
like? Does it smell fresh? Like when you open up
Yes.
the book?
Yeah, but you can't eat it, Joe.
Like fresh petroleum.
Are the kyber crystals edible?
Oh my gosh, this thing's gonna be like so freaking fragile.
Hey, while he's opening that, Joe, have you had the tropical Sour Patch Kids?
Tropical. So at I think it's Sweets, the candy store.
Yeah.
They do have the individual Sour Patch, and I have had the pineapple, which are bomb. I think watermelon are top, and then I would put pineapple right below. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
For those of you guys on the
Damn.
video, look at how like the
Back it up.
robes just flow on this thing, and it's all like black and white, so there's no real color to it, other than the saber.
That thing is sick looking.
Individual strands of
That's
hair just
sick.
flowing in the wind. So good.
The high
We'll
price.
we'll
get
talk
one of
more about Visions later when we do the review, but I think for me that episode of Visions, was it called Ronin?
Yes.
I don't know. That nothing touches that episode. That was like the best.
It was the best one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Visually,
right
it was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
called
love
the
that
Duel.
that R2
Yeah, it was
unit
the duel.
with bamboo top.
Yeah.
That was just so rad.
Yeah.
Dude, even the lightsaber umbrella thing that the Inquisitor had, I was just like, what the
That
heck?
thing was rad.
And then somebody did
all those
that at
stormtroopers.
Comic Con last year.
Yeah, we've got a cosplayer here in Southern California, and she's got that character. So, and then I've got from the Princess Bride, not the Princess. Oh my God. So from the Village Bride, the episode, the episode titled "The
My
Village
name
Bride." So
is Inigo Montoya.
supposedly, from a Japanese storytelling perspective, the Village Bride was actually like the most authentic Japanese storytelling of all the different Visions episodes that they did. And there's just some beautiful moments in that one. I've been drawn to that one.
Princess Bride. Now
I know.
I
just
in my head and inconceivable and
Inconceivable.
The peanut gallery here. So, so the other thing that I got that I wanted to talk about, and I'm actually not going to do much talking about it, is this. So this is the Star Wars Timelines book, and this is actually the segue to
What a coincidence.
our guest.
Yay!
I need to order this.
And of course, I did that as soon as Clayton started eating something.
Okay.
I eat all the time, Clayton. Don't worry about it.
Like Han in the Fast and the Furious movies, I'm constantly.
Nice.
Clayton, what are you working on? What's on your workbench? Or did you work on anything recently that you want to talk about?
First of all, I greatly admire what you guys do because I've always wanted to do it, and I've never I've never committed to it, and I really need to commit to it because I would love a TK. Like that's my standard.
We can help you with that.
We can help you with that.
Clayton, we are still doing
been working on anything. No, work-wise is we've just been keeping busy with TV stuff. Timelines came out last week, so we've been kind of busy talking about that, and it's just kind of cranking along.
So tell us about the book.
Well, I am 1/5 of the author team, along with Kristen Baver and Amy Rikow, Jason Fry and Cole Horton, and I'm very excited. I'm very proud of it. And the really cool thing for me is that it's not like you kind of work on it together. Everybody kind of had their own section that they were working on. So,
can you talk about how it was divvied up?
What's that?
Can you talk about how it was divvied up? Like, what was your section relative to Kristen's, for example?
Basically, the Age of Rebellion. So basically, everything from the Battle of Yavin to the Battle of Jakku.
Heck.
Oh, nice.
And I came to it kind of late in the sense that some of the others had joined in like May of 2021, and I didn't come aboard until mid to late August. So I kind of jumped into it very quickly, and I was excited because this was sort of the era that I grew up with, and so I felt sort of somewhat familiar with it. Little did I know how hard it was actually going to be. I've used the analogy before. I thought it was going to be like, taking apart a lasagna and laying it out, and it just ended up being like this crazy pile of spaghetti because there was just so many things that happen between the movies that are depicted in the comics. For the comics were really the things that I was kind of generally familiar with some of the stories, but when you read these things, I was not reading them at the time with the mind that, I need to sort of have take an analytical mind to this and figure out where it might lay. So I basically had to go back and refamiliarize myself and read all of those comics that take place in between.
Oh my gosh.
The films,
that's a lot.
So books, comics, all of that stuff, video games, and piece it all together, and sometimes it's easier said than done.
Did you have to detangle like the stuff that's considered legends versus canon, and only focus on the canon stuff, or
it was all canon stuff basically. So
okay.
So that right there made it a little bit easier. But even when I made the joke that there's so many stories that take place that it would have been like impossible for Luke, Han, and Leia and the others to actually have enough time to complete all of these missions and all of these stories. Like there's just too many stories. It would have taken more than 5 years, but obviously they were very busy and they got it all done. But yeah, it was kind of sorting things out. Bouncing it over to Lucasfilm, getting their input, making revisions, and yeah, it was quite the process. But again, it was the hardest thing I have ever done. It sort of tapped into my skill set, I think, because a lot of it, if you read it, a lot of the sections that you've been showing, it's short blurbs in order to get a lot of events on a 2-page spread. So it kind of tapped into. I almost felt it was like those news tickers that they run at the bottom of the screen, like on a news broadcast.
Yeah,
short like that, which you would think, oh well, it's short. You're you don't have to put that much time or effort into it. And I found that it's actually the exact opposite. You have to know all of the stuff in order to figure out what's important and how to boil it down into, some of these are 4 or 5 words. Some of them are, longer. But
it's so much information.
It's like so much information, so many stories, and so many different types of media. I mean, there's stuff in here from video games,
and it's growing, and it's growing constantly too. It's like, wow.
And
right,
that's the hard part too, trying to keep up with a timeline, but everything is either in a book or a comic or in a game or in a show or in a movie. And because a lot of people don't read comics and they're missing out on like key moments in these stories that lead to other things that they're like, how did that happen? Well, you should read the comic, or
100%.
or watch the animated series or whatever,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot to throw in there, and like
it's a lot to digest.
Section also included like the War of the Bounty Hunters section, and it was we were writing that spread at the same time that the comics were coming out. So in some cases we'd be getting copies in advance, but in other cases you'd have to wait till things came out. And so with publishing, obviously you have to have a cutoff point. So there are clearly things that are not going to be in here. That'll have to be, in volume.
You're gonna have to redo it in a couple of years.
Or volume 2,
yeah. But it was tricky because it was like things were coming out as we were trying to put it together, and we were doing our best to try and get everything squeezed in there at the last moment, so it would be as up to date as possible. But
that's my time period, so I gotta get this book because I am glad
that's a lot of fun. Yeah, there's
I'm an OT guy, and that's what I'm talking about.
Well, his section was the OT, but it's a timeline of the whole timeline, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So like Cole had it. Cole Horton, for example, was writing the section that includes the High Republic,
right?
And I thought I had it hard. Probably 2/3 of what he was putting into that chapter hadn't been released yet. So
that's all very new.
It's hard. Yeah, it was tough. He had quite the steep curve to get up, but yeah, it's really cool because like I just got it, my own copy, not long ago, so I haven't even been through a lot of it that
that's awesome
that the other authors worked on, and so it's so much fun just kind of going through it. And speaking of the comics, you'll notice, especially in my section, between the films, a lot of the artwork that you see is taken right out of the comics, because there is so much that we talk about. And there you go, conflict in the Outer Rim.
Hey,
hey, there we are.
There they are. That's Clone Wars season 7.
So
I think that's. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Brian.
I think that's really cool that you work on a particular section and then you have co-writers, basically workmates that you're working with, but you don't see it. And then you get to see this finished product, which is, I don't know, I think that's adds a little bit of an element of surprise because you're writing your section, you're looking at it, you're editing it over and over and over again. You know it in and out. And then to open it up to the whole broad picture, I think that's got to be really fulfilling and something super cool. So
it's totally fulfilling, and it's also pretty humbling because when you talk about great names who have worked on some great stuff, I mean Jason Fry, Amy Rickow, I mean Kristen Baver, and Cole too. I mean, this was my first book project ever, and
awesome.
I was like, what am I doing here?
How did you?
How did I sneak in the door here? Because these people are fantastic at this stuff, and so it was really humbling, and it was cool to. DK, the editors at DK are amazing. Ruth Amos and Emma Grange and Matt. They were and the whole crew. Like, I should have somewhere a printout of like some of the actual timelines in here. They had us like on some of the battles and things when we're figuring out the branches and things like that. Those sketches originally came from us, and we all sent in like these crayon drawings that were, really rough ovals and branches and circles. And what the DK designers took and turned it into was unbelievable. There's nobody better at designing, these layouts than those guys. So that was amazing. That was cool to see. It's cool.
Clayton,
to see. We were also working on spreadsheets, so we never saw anything laid out in a visual way. So that was the other thing when we opened it up, and it's like, holy cow, this is what this is supposed to look like.
That's rad. I'm a visual person, so I can imagine how you felt when you actually can see all the work you've been doing. Yeah, is there a maybe a story or a vignette or an example of when you were doing your research, you're like, maybe you knew something, but you're like, oh man, this is really cool. Like, just a portion of that era of that period that you were diving into, and you're like, just geeking out. Does anything stand out?
Man, it's the sections between like Empire and Jedi. There were these just little moments, like you were saying earlier. Just it's all this connective tissue between a lot of these stories. So like, I never knew until reading some of the. This came from a novel. Like, the first time that Luke Skywalker moves an object with the Force, right? Like, really neat little milestones like that.
Yeah.
That that only the comics or the books ever covered, and so there were a lot of little moments like that one that were pretty fun to just sort of discover along the way.
So at Celebration, Lucasfilm in their big panel introduced 3 new eras to the timeline. The Dawn of the Jedi, the New Republic, which is kind of a time period that we're familiar with, at least thanks to the Mando and all of those shows. And then the New Jedi Order, which is now out in the future. Did any of that get to inform any of the content of the book at all, or was that just as much of a surprise to you guys when they announced it as it was to the fans?
That was a surprise. Yeah, that was a total surprise. Yeah.
I mean, it sets you guys up for a volume 2 or a second edition or something.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
It's my guess is in about 2 or 3 years they'll have enough to justify revisiting it and doing an updated and expanded edition. But yeah, no, that was total surprise to us. A lot of it was like, there were, we wouldn't I don't think it's giving anything away to say that we were, we knew that the Obi-Wan series was coming out, for example, last year when we were finishing up, but it's not like we didn't get any previews or there was no advance anything.
There's so many people involved, it's got to be impossible to like let everybody know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I think it just goes. They just want to keep everything. They want people to be surprised, and yeah. So we did our best, but there were things added to my chapter even after. Like, there was a part of from Book of Boba Fett that were added to my chapter much later. So yeah.
I wonder if Filoni.
There's so much more to do.
I wonder if Filoni reads this and just makes sure, I don't know, criticizes it.
Yeah, in a way, it's tough because you don't want to, from a storytelling creative perspective, I suppose you don't want to be locked into any sort of hard dates on anything, to just give you some more flexibility. But we'll see.
There's so much happening.
So much.
Hey, Raimi. Hey, Raimi.
What?
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
He's right there, Steven.
I'm right here. I'm looking at you.
I say, hey, Raimi. You say what?
I know. I was trying to mix it up and it just fell flat. I just, we do this dance every week and just, I was trying to introduce a little spice in the life there, Steven. So we'll start out with a little bit of Pedro Pascal news. So Pedro has signed on to star in Zach Krieger's new movie titled Weapons. Details about the story are vague, but it's been described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic that tonally is in the vein of Magnolia, which was a 1999 actor cram showcase from filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson. So I don't know anything about this, but this is another project. So part of the reason, other than it being Pedro, is just it'll be interesting to see how the filming schedule of this intertwines with the work on Mandalorian season 4. Although I would predict that with everything that he's got going on, really the voiceover, he just needs time in the sound booth to come in and do voices. So I don't think it's that big of an impact.
I don't think Mando's ever going to take his helmet off again with how well it worked for season 3.
I agree. At least, I mean, it will need to be meaningful if they do it again.
Yeah.
So, and they're looking to begin shooting. Yeah, they're looking to begin shooting of that film in the fall. In the meantime, Pascal's gearing up to go into production on the Gladiator sequel for Ridley Scott. And
I told you guys there was a sequel to that.
Yeah.
And you guys all thought I was high.
So he is now associated with that. I don't know what his role is, or if it's the lead or supporting role or anything, but he'll be in that. So,
unfortunately, though, it's not the original script where Maximus time travels to the 1940s. So,
I expect that this will actually the film work that he's doing is going to impact his work on season 2 of The Last of Us more than it will The Mandalorian, since he is obviously not wearing a helmet for that one. So, Ahsoka, a little bit of Ahsoka news. So a lot of these, the next stories kind of all dovetail into each other because Empire Magazine's got a big 20-page spread on Star Wars in general coming up in their summer issue. So Filoni and the cast did an interview, and they were talking about Ahsoka and Thrawn. So in the modern Thrawn canon novels, Thrawn's sort of set up as an anti-hero. He's not really set up as the bad guy. Like the book's about him, so you don't really want to vision him as this bad guy. But Filoni had this to say about Thrawn and how he is portrayed in Ahsoka. And presumably if he's involved in the film that Filoni's working on in that. So he says he's definitely the bad guy in the New Republic era, in my eyes. When Timothy Zahn wrote Heir to the Empire, Thrawn became this very iconic villain because he was different than anything we'd seen before. He wasn't another helmet-wearing, lightsaber-wielding bad guy, There's a lot to pull to make characters that are like Vader because it's so iconic. But the boldness that Tim had was to make somebody that wasn't like that didn't have these abilities, but could fight in a different way. In the words of Star Wars, the war part of it, him being a Grand Admiral, a leader, a military strategist, a Moriarty archetype, someone that will outthink you, out-strategize you, that really resonated. He's a critical player in this time period. We're fortunate to have that character and fortunate to have Lars Mikkelsen playing him. So, also in Ahsoka news, so on that same article, Mary Elizabeth Weinstead was describing sort of the constant thread that the show has around the notion of found family, saying that it's the through line of the show. The strength that they need to get through what they're facing requires them to come back together and redefine that family. And then Rosario Dawson added, the immediate connection between them is such a strength because you trust that there's history there. You feel it for the ones that have been anticipating this story to go on for a long time. They're going to feel really happy. So again, I mean, this is essentially a live action continuation of Rebels, which is what a lot of fans have been asking for. So in that same Empire Magazine article, Kathleen Kennedy was asked about kind of the many ongoing projects that we've heard about, but don't really have any update on recently. So when she was asked about working with Rian Johnson, she said, Ryan and I talk all the time. He just keeps getting more and more successful, and it keeps moving things back further and further. One day we'll figure it out. So that's relative to his film project that's been rumored for a long time. Lando and Rogue Squadron, which were both announced on Disney's Investor Day back in 2020, along with the other project called A Droid Story, which we haven't heard anything about since then. And while we've heard quite a bit about Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron ups and downs, we haven't really heard much about Lando. Back at the time, the only name attached to Lando other than Donald Glover was Justin Simeon, who had previously worked on Dear White People. Since then, Simeon moved on to direct Disney's latest Haunted Mansion film, which comes out this July. And then he's also signed on to direct Flashdance reboot, of all things, and a documentary series with Forrest Whitaker. So it's unclear whether he's still attached to the project or not. But Kathleen Kennedy had this to say about both Rogue Squadron and Lando. She says, Lando is still on the books and Rogue Squadron is still in the books. We want them to be great. So, she's saying, listen, if it takes us longer to make sure that these are the quality that we want, we're happy to let it take longer. That's just how it goes. And since Clayton's got his Acolyte shirt on, we can talk a little bit about some Acolyte news. That's right. So there's only a couple weeks worth of filming, but a full year's worth of post-production to do still on the film. So showrunner Leslie Headland revealed that her original pitch to Kathleen Kennedy for Acolyte was simply Frozen meets Kill Bill. But recently she added, I want to take that revisionist version of female villains that you see in a fairy tale media and tell it through that lens. So she went on to say she insisted the focus will be on female villains, which for her hit especially close to home by saying, when I was a young queer girl, I was just hanging out with Ursula and the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid. As a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes and the villains show up and they're all queer coded, you're like, yes, that's me. As a queer filmmaker, you're going to see some camp inevitably, but I would say that tonally our references are darker. So the series takes place 100 years before Phantom Menace. We knew that, and we're going to see the Sith starting to infiltrate the Jedi Order, and the Jedi are completely blindsided. They don't know this is coming. So the series is going to explore exactly how that happens, and the plot thread that Headland uses is an investigation. It's almost like a crime drama kind of theme. An investigation of a series of mysterious crimes that's kicked off when a former Padawan, which is series lead Amandla Stenberg, reunites with her former master, which is Lee Jung-jae. So now some of this detail, I want to say that they must have talked about this. I didn't get to go to the Acolyte panel in London, so I'm going to say they probably talked more in detail about this. So I don't know how much of this is news, but some of this was new to me. It says the world of the Acolyte is populated by a vast array of Jedi characters, which was also kind of the problem for them. We start with Stenberg's character, who Headland described to Empire as Joan of Arc meets Gogo Yubari, which is the historical character and the 17-year-old character from Kill Bill, respectively. Stenberg added that the character has clay-rolled dreadlocks, which is a North African reference, in the territory of what we had been revealed before, but again, this was news to me. We also have Charlie Barnett as a Jedi Knight, Dean Charles Chapman as a Jedi with supposedly great hair. I'm not sure why the article referenced that, but we'll find out. Daphne Keane as a Thelan, half alien, half human Jedi, who Keane described as David Bowie meets Star Wars. So I'm interested in that one. They said, I have a little mullet. I have horns. It's cute. So we knew that Jonas Suotamo is a Wookiee Jedi. Jodie Turner-Smith is a Force user who's neither Sith nor Jedi. And then finally, Manny Jacinto, just as a regular guy who gets swept up in this Jedi business. And then we've also got Rebecca Henderson as a fan favorite, Vernestra Rouault. I don't know how to say this, too many vowels in this word, who made a splash in the High Republic Phase 1 books. So that and Clayton, maybe in your work on the book, didn't work on the High Republic era, but
no.
This Vernestra RWOH, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but apparently that's a character that was in the High Republic. So there's a confirmation right there that we've got a name from a character in the High Republic that's actually going to be a character in making the jump into live action in Acolyte.
And I will say, out of all the Star Wars footage that they showed in London, the Acolyte got me most excited. It looks great.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have here is another quote from Headland. She says, when you're doing something completely original like we are, you want to question the status quo of the era that you live in. What I think is so interesting right now is that everybody thinks they're right. The Jedi really think they're right. And George Lucas tells us that they're wrong in Phantom Menace. They missed a huge aspect of the dark side rising. They just felt like fertile ground to look into what's going on for us all right now. So when we hear the Jedi Council talking about they're surprised that this has snuck up on them, we're going to see kind of how things broke down and how that started to play out. So that's interesting.
Oh, I wonder if we get to see Yoda.
You would think,
Acolyte,
right?
right?
He's
I mean,
around.
He's there.
He's what, like
Hmm.
700 years old or something? At that point?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't
He's
he's
already-
the acolyte stuff. None of that was. It was the panel only, right? And like none of it's been released.
As far as I know, no, and I don't think, at least I haven't seen it leaked out anywhere.
Right.
It was kind
There's
of a
nothing on it.
teasery sort of clip
Yeah.
reel that they put together
Oh,
because, again, they were still shooting, so
I'll
they
have
had
to
kind of
search the dark
pulled
web
some
and try to find
highlights
that.
and added some effects and stuff, and but as the overall look of a series, it was spectacular. I mean, it looked great.
That's cool.
Just a couple more articles here in the news. One little bit on Andor, and this one's quick. So we already knew the Andor season 2. It's 12 episodes, set to have 4 individual 3-episode arcs, with 1 year between each arc. But what we now know is that the final arc literally encompasses the 3 days leading up into Rogue One.
Nice.
So it's so the show is literally going to lead straight into. You'll be able to watch those last 3 episodes, and then start Rogue One, and it is all just one thing.
And that's the same way Rogue One leads right into A New Hope.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
seamlessly. I like
Yeah.
that.
Gilroy is
Marathon.
So good.
Yeah.
This is where we get depend undergarments, and you just like
Just binge
Put
it.
just binge
It's
it.
on
and
Disney
don't-
Plus, dude. You can
and
pause.
don't move.
You can go to the
No,
Yeah, dude.
no, Brian, you don't pause.
We're the dad batch. We already have Depends.
Well, three out of the 5.
Oh, wait,
You-
which
guys.
one? Which side am I on?
Yes, yes, you,
The top
Ramey.
row.
You're on this
It's-
side, maybe. You're on this
I mean,
side.
like,
You're on this.
You guys
side.
are all on the
45
bottom
and
for
over
me.
club up here. You know what I mean? Like Steven and John are in a different class.
We had Ben Gay last episode.
Yeah,
And
can we get that
Undergarment.
out? Where's that? I got that somewhere.
So the last little bit of news, and I'm actually interested because I know, Clayton, you covered this with Scripps, your day job, right? So the Hollywood writer's strike. So a little bit of relevant news. So Tony Gilroy, who had previously honored the writer's portion of the strike by stopping his writing duties on Andor, which arguably the writing on paper should have long since been done. But he has also now, as either late yesterday or today, he's ceased all producing activities as well. So and that's just kind of in solidarity with, we're seeing a lot of, the other unions are honoring the writer's strike by also kind of stopping production. So
Yeah. I know that the scripts are maybe technically done, although I know that Tony Gilroy was supposed to appear at an Andor screening on the Disney lot. This was maybe 2 or 3 days before. It might have actually been the Monday night before they went on strike, and he did not show up to that, presumably because he was
You're right.
writing the rest of these episodes. But again, I talked to dozens of writers and sort of got a little more insight into just how shows and movies work when it comes to the writing, and it is a constant ongoing process. I mean, the things need to be rewritten for a variety of reasons over the course of shooting something. So I would be I would think that he would even want to sort of step back and have everything kind of come to a halt, just so they can wait to do it and do it right once everything gets ironed out.
yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine, as a creator, I would be, it would, I would think it would be incredibly frustrating to sit there and watch, knowing that something needs to be changed or that you could make it better in the moment and not being able to.
Yeah.
Strike. And then, so I assume he's probably happy to wait, and everybody's happy to wait and make sure they get the best story in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Takes a village.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the news, and I think that also brings us you've got pressing duties calling, right?
I do have to jump back into it, but thank you for having me on. This was amazing.
Thank you, and we'll remind everybody to go check out your book, Star Wars Timelines. So I found it at Barnes and Noble. I walked right in, and it was sitting there. So
I have it open. I'm about to hit order. So
excellent, great, yeah. And check us out on Scripps News every once in a while. And
cool.
we'll come back and we'll do this again soon.
And
Yeah.
let's work on a TK for you. We can
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, these guys all can. They're in Southern
That's what I got
California.
out of this whole thing.
I'll just
is you're making a
support
TK. You're making a TK, and we recorded it, so it's.
Oh, and we can help you build the, and you can document it, and
We
you
can
can
do it. We could do it as a story for sure. Yeah, because
exactly.
I don't want to do the thing where you just like buy everything and have somebody do it for you. I understand the ethos of doing this is putting in the work to actually do it, and that sort of it's much more rewarding, I think, doing it.
You can do it too, especially with help. It's really like when people always ask me like, oh, how do you build this, whatever, and I go, it can. A stormtrooper is like building a model.
I'm all thumbs.
When you're a kid, you build a model car, a model plane, a model Star Wars ship. Building a stormtrooper is not that much different. It's just on a bigger scale. So
sweet.
It's the same glue. It's the same glue.
Fun. I think you would find.
Thanks, Clayton. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Clayton, before you leave, Clayton, let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can watch us on Scripps News. We're all around the country streaming all your favorite streaming services or scriptsnews.com. I'm also on Twitter for the time being until it implodes at Clayton_Sandell, and on Instagram at Clayton Sandell, no spaces or anything. So one of those places you should be able to track me down.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again for coming on with us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, gents. Good luck.
All right.
May
the force be with you.
Thank you.
May the force be with you. See you later. Bye.
And like I said, that is it for the news.
Why did you make me do this?
Guess you have a choice. You want a war, or do you want to just give me a gun?
My father, he go toilet on my hands.
Oh my God.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius, staves off the frostbite.
How is this relevant?
You know, fathers.
This week, I chose something random that I happened to catch on Amazon Prime. It's called Crazy Samurai 400 versus 1. And it's basically a one-take, 77-minute long battle between one dude and 400
it's Musashi.
Other
Musashi, who's like
men.
the greatest samurai ever. And I was the first one to watch this.
Is that what?
I would like to just.
Yeah, you were the first one.
I was the first one to watch it.
Well, I started it yesterday, and then
Is
I didn't continue until today.
4-hour drive this morning, and I had it on while it was.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So who caught that? I know Brian did.
Oh, I think we all watched
Joe
it
did.
today.
Did you watch it, Raimi?
Unfortunately.
I deserve the right to go first.
I didn't, but I saw a screenshot and I was told it was very repetitive, so I'm going to assume that I saw it.
Can I go first?
If you saw a screenshot,
hold on, Brian.
multiply that by however many seconds.
Let's
77 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Okay. So Brian, go ahead. You can tell me what you thought first. Go ahead.
Set it up. You were setting it up. So.
Well, I want to set it up. Yeah. So, I mean, like you've just heard everyone sort of say, it is a bit redundant. There is a lot of because there's only so many moves.
A bit.
Let's hold on.
Right.
There's the history that I read of it that this was filmed in 2008 or 2007.
The first part.
No. That whole scene was filmed in like 2008, and it sat
the fight
dormant.
Scene.
The fight scene.
The
70s.
There's two fight scenes though.
Yes, but the long one, which is one cut,
yes,
right? So it's a 77-minute fight scene. That's one take. There's no edits through the whole thing. That was filmed in 2008, and it sat dormant. And through a Kickstarter campaign, they raised some money in 2020, 2021. What's so funny?
Yeah, because it's 2021 when it came out again.
Kickstarter raised the money. They added the CGI effects and then filmed some extra scenes. So
great CGI.
So no. So listen. So the movie starts with like a backstory. You know, they kind of explain who there's this kid and this old man, and they're kind of going through it. And then all of a sudden, it jumps to this fight scene. It just starts.
Yeah.
The dude shows up and they're like, there he is, let's kill him, you know. And
so
go ahead.
I love me some samurai movies. If you've seen 13 Assassins, which we'll have to talk about at some point in time, that is an amazing movie. Like I will say,
we'll do that one later.
Dude, Raimi's cats, dude.
Raimi's cat.
Raimi, what's up with your cat, dude?
One of those, like, what's going on?
Sorry, I meant to have it muted.
The concept of it is beautiful. The single take shot is awesome. The costumes, the accuracy is, you know, I'm a Japanese connoisseur, samurai connoisseur. I thought it was beautiful. I thought the camera angles were awesome. One guy fighting 400 people. He killed people 3 different ways. It was either overhead chop to the top of the head. Or it was them running
slice
at
to the
them,
gut,
running at him with their arms over their sword over their head, running straight at him, and he would just slice.
Right in their stomach.
There was one other way too. I can't remember, but those two were like, so he killed about 300 people in that same way. So about 15 minutes in, you're like, I mean, there's 10 dudes behind him. Just stab him in the back.
Let me add to that. Let me add to that.
Hold on. I would say probably traditional Japanese samurai fighting. It's probably very one-on-one. It's not, you know, they're not going to stab you in the back because that's not respectful. But okay. And one other thing. When it started raining, did you notice it only rained over like a circle? The rain machine is like over them in a circle.
It's just a shower head, right?
Some dude off camera with the hose.
Hold on. So let me add to the fight commentary. I also noticed the same 4 or 5 guys were always at the front line.
Yes.
Like the same dude in the same clothes with the same exact stance and face would basically engage, die, kind of crawl out of the, you know,
run off
screen,
screen.
and then
he'd run off screen.
The camera would pan one way, and he'd be ready again.
He would gut him, and they would like stumble off to the side.
They would crawl off. And that's another thing I noticed. Every single person in the first hour doesn't die and just stay there. They all crawl off because they're all peeling back in to join the fight again.
So even though it was 1 against 400, it was really 1 against maybe 8, and it was just the same 8 over and over and over again.
It's like 1 against 20, and then only 10 of them actually fight, and the rest are kind of in the background, like looking menacing.
But I will say, when he fights the like quote unquote bosses, like when he comes across the few guys,
the boss fights,
like those are sick. After the fight in the rain is sick, even though it's underneath the shower head. And then when it fast forwards to the new scene, which all of a sudden, like, wow, their fighting is so much more dynamic. It's
because that's 8 years later.
I mean, I appreciated the concept and where they were going with it. I think there was too many just like, come on, like parts in it to make me want to keep it. I'm not disappointed I watched it. I watched it while I was driving, which means I half paid attention to it. And it was nice because there was no because I watched it in Japanese, but they didn't talk at all. So it was like,
right. I put subtitles on, and like by 3/4 of the movie, there's no dialogue.
I think if you were limited
just grunting
on time and you want to watch a samurai movie, I would recommend 13 Assassins over this. But
yeah, no, this is the type of movie you can watch this like as a background thing. Like I was like taping up helmets today and getting them ready to paint, and I have this on, and like you don't miss anything because he'll fight and you're watching it, and it's the same move, and then you can look down and look back up, and it's the same move, and he pauses for a minute. He'll like wipe his hair out of his face or like the sweat, and then they'll go again. Yeah, he'll stand up like this for a minute, and then just belly slices for half an hour.
The single shot thing, though, I mean the single shot, the accuracy of the costumes and how they looked, I would say is phenomenal. So
and the dude is exhausted by the end. You can see him like huffing and puffing.
I want to know how they got dirt and blood on him and stuff, because
That's what I was wondering too. I'm like, they didn't cut.
And how about
It's
his
the
break?
same scene.
How
Like
about his
maybe
When the
break?
guy runs off screen, he's putting some jam on his
he
arm,
gets slapped
and then
and
rubs them. And in a fight, it just keeps adding more and more. It's just weathering in
No, because all of a sudden
one
he's
shot.
got like blood and you know he's hurt. His arm is hurt at one point. And his leg is hurt at one point.
I literally, while I was watching it, there's the part where he kind of takes a break, right? Where he runs
Yeah,
off,
that's what he drinks
and
water.
and
He got some water.
No, but he runs off, and then like two dudes start arguing. Like two of the bad guys start arguing, and he disappears for a while. I'm like, what's he doing? Is he drinking a protein shake? Is he eating some sushi? Like, what's he doing?
Replenishing his. He's like craft services, getting something to drink.
Eating a sandwich, sitting down.
This reminded me. The reason why I was not impressed is because I have two boys, and I just remember when they were like 7 and 10 with two sticks, just beating the crap out of each other for not 77 minutes, but like 77 hours nonstop. And then come to find out, one of them was recording it the whole time. Hey, Dad, check out this movie that we made, and it's the same thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, boys, like, wow.
So you saw the prequel?
Oh yeah, I saw the making of it.
You saw that behind the scenes, right?
Behind the scenes, yep. Yep.
Oh, and then
So I can't get
the
that
other
time
move
back.
is the circular.
No, that was
Ding,
no. There was
ding.
two. That was two. I know that the two specific was the
Or just the
chop
blocking, because he would just
to
block,
the head,
block.
Where he would hit the guy
block.
in the head, a little bit of blood would come out, and then it was the gut.
It's like a.
Yeah. I mean, there was
Little
moments where
squirt.
there'd be like 20 dudes would run at him in single file.
Stomach.
The one time I was excited was when the little boy looks up at a butterfly and the ninja comes out of a tree and slices him right in his head. I'm like, yes!
But it
that was
cuts
my
the
one
in half in
that
the
was
same
good.
in the movement.
Would it-
that was my one
movement.
yes, and then the rest went downhill.
Fast forwarded 7 years
That was new.
forward when he was older, and those dudes jumped him, and he murked all of them, and it was like an Avengers movie. He was like,
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share their thoughts?
I'd like to delete this
Steven?
from the hard drive.
Yeah,
It's taking up too much gigs.
I'd like to delete it. I'd like to delete it from my memory.
Can I?
Yeah. So halfway through, I was almost going to tell all you guys to like forget about it.
No.
Just because of the redundancy.
I think this is good because usually it's always like home runs or like I talk crap on a bunch of stuff, but I will use this moment to make a recommendation. 13 Assassins, which I believe is on Netflix. Which is
Don't watch this. Watch what Brian is
very
recommending.
R-rated. It's extremely gory.
Oh, is it on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix. It's called 13 Assassins.
13 Assassins?
It's very
Okay.
good. It's there's one like really disturbing part, but it's like quick. But if you want to see 13 samurai take on 400 people and not do the same two moves over and over again,
Is it 400 to 1? I don't know, dude.
it's a lot. Well, it's 13 assassins versus a bunch. It's very, very good. So I highly recommend 13 Assassins. See,
Is it the
look at
number
this.
13 or the word
Positive.
13?
The number 13. Is it on
Okay.
Netflix? Do you see it?
I was still looking through that.
It's
Make 10 men feel like 100.
I will tell you,
Is it Andor?
It is amazing. So
Is it possible to get negative Rotten Tomatoes?
look at this. We come out of Hunter's hard drive,
Green tomato.
kind of pooping on a video, on a movie, and we're recommending something to replace it. So there you go. Lemons.
No,
and
well,
lemonade.
I'm keeping it because I like the concept.
Sure, but you're never
And
gonna watch it.
although the execution fell a bit short, I commend
The concept, yes,
the idea.
The
You know what it was like?
cinematography
It was
amazing.
like watching a first player video game.
Yes, it was.
Like you're just going through the stages.
Yeah. What was that
Like
movie?
you
What was
kill-
that game called? That samurai game?
Yeah,
Ghost
Ninja
of-
Gaiden.
No, Ghost. of
Steven, it's like you're
Kurosawa or
you're watching a video game, but there's a glitch because you keep seeing the same scene over and over again. Dang.
Hey, it's not on Netflix.
They only,
Brian.
it's like they only rendered 6 assassins. And they just have to keep.
And they
repeating
keep coming back.
I want to behind the scenes.
Brian, that movie's not on Netflix.
It's not. All right, look it up though. It's somewhere. It's on something.
13 Assassins.
13 Assassins.
I'll watch that
I still want to know when homie took a break. What did he do? Did he sit down? Did he get a foot massage? Did he have a?
Got some grub.
Did he have a shake?
Got some
Did he
cream
have
barbecue.
Coca-Cola? What did he have?
Or some rushi. He got some rushi real quick.
All right.
Which is short for rushed sushi.
Let me
for
tell you,
those
I
who-
think this is one of the best
Yeah.
Hunter's hard drives ever. Are we gonna talk about
Ah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or what are we doing?
No, we're gonna talk about
No.
Visions?
That type of
Star
podcast.
Wars Visions.
Oh, sweet! I watched it.
Season 2, episode 1, right?
Season
Yeah.
2,
Episode titled
1,
Sith.
The Sith, or just Sith.
Just Sith.
It's called Sith. Yeah.
Runtime of 16 minutes. Go ahead, John.
You don't have
John?
music?
Me? Or Joe?
No, isn't this part of your hard drive?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no!
John.
I thought. Oh, was it? I thought Raimi was going to talk about it. Yeah,
Look how
sure.
prepared we are.
Yeah, I guess we can all talk about it.
No, Visions is going to be Hunter's hard drive this season.
Let's go.
Okay. Oh, right on. Okay, cool. Well, okay. The first episode is a former Sith apprentice finds their peaceful life threatened. So apparently, it's basically this. Well, you want me to review it or break it down, or what? I wasn't expecting this. I don't know why.
And I'm going to call her out on this. Naomi Sonfield has to cosplay this character.
Yeah, she should. She should.
She's dead ringer. I already sent this to Justin. I'm
Sorry,
like,
cut
you
your-
have to.
Cut your arm
She has
off.
to cut
You need a robot?
cut her arm off. Yeah. the whole
It's
thing.
like
Yeah.
just do the Winter
Plant the
Soldier thing. It'll be
robotic
fine.
arm.
No, it'll be fine. Winter Soldier. That thing.
John has the droid
Details.
for it already.
I
Details.
do. Yeah, I have a speaker from this
That's right.
company, and it already looks like the little droid, which is kind of cool. So it's basically this woman who's a painter, and she paints with like the Force, and depending on how she's feeling, or if she's feeling good or the dark side or something,
Is she is the
changes.
painting literal or is it like?
That's what I was wondering too, because it was she's walking through a lot of stuff that was like there, but was it there, or was that just kind of the style of? Because there's a lot of detail in the style of animation.
I think it
very
is real because I
interpretive.
mean it's visions, right? It's off interpretation from Star Wars. It's not like
Yeah.
necessarily something canon, right? I think it's just an artist's take on
It's not canon, right?
something new.
And it was cool. There were these bounty hunters and the
robots,
Sith
those are
Lord.
sick. Yeah.
Basically, the robot's cool. Yeah, the robot bounty hunters. But the Sith Lord, I guess, is her old master, and yeah, they have this epic battle. Her lightsaber's awesome. It's like a katana blade, which we've never seen. It's
Was
like
it curved? It was
Yeah.
curved,
But
right?
it almost had
Yeah.
like
And
a
not only
fencing
that-
hilt to it with the like guard, like the knuckle guard.
Yeah, it had a guard, and it was also double sided. So one side was like
Yep.
a yellow katana,
Which
and
was
the other
super
side was a red
was
katana, and it was
red.
like opposite the way the
That was sick.
Yeah.
blades went.
She's
Like a
pretty much.
propeller, or not a propeller.
Kind of did a Windu thing, right?
She's
Like,
pretty
kinda
much the
weird.
She's pretty much the Bendu because she's got both dark and light.
Right, she's able to,
Yin yang.
Right, Joe?
stave off the dark side.
I-
Oh, the fencing
in the
saber is
middle.
the Sith Lords.
I
What?
thought the art was beautiful. It reminded me of
Yep.
Spider-Verse.
This is from Elgiri Studios.
Yes. El
Correct.
Guri Studios based out of Spain. Yeah, I was messaging somebody during this. I'm like, this is stunning. I had goosebumps at some parts. Just the art design of this was incredible. And the way that the color palette, you literally were feeling her mood through the colors that were there. And like, because all of a sudden, like everything starts going black and it's very dark and then she gets it under control and the colors come back. And then at the end, like if you look at it, the animation is kind of very vague and almost line art with very little color at the beginning, almost
Yeah.
like just watercolor. And then it gets more vibrant the farther into it you get.
It gets
more action
super
builds up.
saturated.
And then
Yeah.
the saturation goes up and the colors get more varied and
Intense.
Yeah,
Yep.
I said it's
Like
almost like Sabine Wren painted, like was the art director
Yeah,
for this thing. Like it
That's a
literally
great
looked
way to
like
put it.
paint splatters everywhere. It was cool.
You definitely want to have a good high definition screen to watch it. It's one thing to watch it on your phone if those of you that are going to binge it that way, but I would encourage you try to get in front of a large screen if you
And-
can.
And go back and listen to it with headphones.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yes.
I listened to it with headphones and like the sound design was incredible.
The
Just
sound, the
the
scores,
little
all of it.
clicks and like the robotic movements of the little droid. Like it was all so I would never have heard all that had I just watched it on my screen.
Dude, the cannon on that droid, it's high.
Dude, when she got
You
in
think,
the-
it's like BD1 pulling out a bazooka. I mean, this little cute little droid, and then all of a sudden,
when he got in the ship,
Yeah.
And boom.
when it got on the ship and its legs sucked up into it and it turned into a ball, and then it like went up into her ship and it had a little home, just like all droids do, and then the ship kind of transformed. I was like,
and that bike was kind of like reminiscent of General Grievous,
of Darth
right?
Maul.
The cycle bike.
The
cycle bike.
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah,
You're right.
Solid intro.
Grievous,
season for Visions.
Grievous bike that we see in episode 2.
And I know y'all said 2 was good. I haven't
and
watched 2 yet. I just watched 1, but it was awesome,
I don't know.
So.
I don't know if you guys noticed. You guys know when Ahsoka says, her famous line, "I'm no Jedi."
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this episode, she's telling her master, "I'm no Sith." Right as he's like disappearing because she beat him. Which is kind of cool.
It's almost like the mirrored version of Ahsoka, though, right? Because she's not a Jedi. She kind of takes the she's still on the good side, right? But she's kind of
right. But she takes the neither path, I guess.
Right.
And which is what this woman is also doing. Well, she's a good person, but she's not.
She's not going to go dark anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Solid episode. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Great opening salvo for this season.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I guess next week we're going to be talking about episode 2, Screecher's Reach, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually my personal favorite.
I didn't watch.
Out of all of them. There's some really good ones, but that one is.
For your information, the stinger of a Yalbek queen is a delicacy on some planets.
So, good friend of ours, Kira, she's out there. She's probably one of our early listeners. She hit me up with some questions, and we've actually talked about this before, but I think it's good mentioning it again, or actually asking it again. Purchase versus make. When you're talking about costume pieces, and you're talking about, what are some of the things you consider or you think about that you weigh in when you're trying to figure out, like, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna try to make this. I'm not going to try to design it. I'm actually going to go commission somebody or buy something that's already been in production. How do you come up with that, I guess, decision?
Time, budget,
time and money, I guess. Yeah.
Time and budget,
and tools and skills. If you just don't know how to do something yourself, or don't have the tools to do it,
Yeah.
Like if you need something milled out of metal and you don't have a lathe or whatever, then you
might hire someone to do it for you.
If it really has to be metal, sure, we can 3D print something, but if we want it made out of metal, then we've got to find someone that can do that.
You could have a 3D printer and you're just too lazy to print something.
Yeah, or there's someone that already offers that service, that you don't have to bother with.
I have a big nozzle on my printer, and sometimes a fine nozzle is there, and I'm too lazy to change the nozzle.
Your nozzle's not as big as Ramey's.
No, definitely
not.
Ramey, whip that thing out, dude. That thing's massive.
Whip that thing out.
Let me see that nozzle.
Pull this thing out.
Dank fair.
Jeez, it's like as big as your head.
This is 500% scale right here.
Wow.
Brag much?
I like that you printed it.
There's an example I have for something I would
went through
pay
and
for rather than
the colors.
do myself.
Hold on.
I had to buy the colors too. So I've never been the guy that did that, but I wanted this to look right. So sorry.
No, that's cool. An example of something I would rather pay for than do myself is like a lightsaber install, for example.
Oh.
And obviously you're not going to mill your own saber. People do. A lot of people do. But I would send it to my buddy John, and he would do it for me because that's what he does too. And I get to support a friend and also have a pro do it rather than me try it and mess it up, because I used to do installs too and they weren't pretty. I'd much rather give them to John.
I think that's what it comes down for me as well. Is because I've learned so many skills through this thing that we call costuming. I'm not oblivious to the fact that there are more skilled individuals than myself when it comes to certain things, and I respect that craft so much that I'm willing to support the artist. So So for me, it's almost like getting, like a piece of art from someone that I can wear or display. Like, can I go 3D print a clone trooper helmet and then paint it up myself? Absolutely. Or am I gonna go hit up Alpha Ignition for a custom piece because I know it's a piece of art from John, or am I gonna, like for Wrecker, can I, for Wrecker, I made all my leather pieces myself, or am I gonna go hit up, another leather maker like Delta or any of the guys from South America, because they do such great work there. So I don't know. It just depends on the piece and if I want to support the artist.
Right. There's already someone that might do what you might not be great at, or something that you might not even want to do, like Brian said, sometimes it's laziness. You're like, I don't want to, carve out a leather belt. Homeboy over here makes a great one and I can support him and get a great product. And, yeah.
Yeah, that I started thinking about that too when it came to the decision to do Daimyo Boba, which is going to be a slow build. I'm not rushing that one.
Hurry up.
Like, could I print the armor? Yes.
I haven't done yet.
Could I do a decent job of it? I'm sure. But I want to experiment with the urethane, armor and sort of I want to upgrade everything with this kit.
Do some stunts?
Going urethane, huh?
Dude, yeah.
You're gonna be jumping off of stages and stuff.
I do my own stunts, dude. Yeah.
Dude, when you show up to like Comic-Con or Celebration or whatever with your Daimyo Fat on, and the sunlight is just gonna pass through the yellow shoulder armor.
Screen accurate.
It's like, that's gonna look so choice.
Yeah.
Choice. That's
I'm stoked about it. Cool. All right, thanks guys.
Question.
So now I'll switch over to an email, and I just asked Emily for permission and she said yes. So I have permission to read this email that she sent in. So Emily is it's just me, Emily, 25. She's part of the community, very much part of the community, definitely part of our community, Dad Batch crew. And so I'm going to go ahead and just read it and let it speak for itself. Subject: a short thank you. Hello, Space Daddies. Yes, great start, Emily. You got points for that one for sure. Back with another email. It seems like it was just January 4th and the new season of Bad Batch was starting. This semester has been particularly challenging for me, and all the crazy and fun that has happened this year has made surviving the semester much easier. I had intended to send this email last week before May the 4th, and well, that obviously didn't happen. I've been a smidge busy graduating college on Revenge of the 5th, and then enjoying margaritas all weekend. Good choice.
She graduated, by the way. Congratulations.
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 I wanted to take a picture of my diploma cover tassel, the Dad Batch patch, and Joe's challenge coin all together and make an Instagram post. And then time got away from me. I'm trying to find the words to say a sufficient thank you for reminding me that there's a whole group of people out there that I cannot wait to meet one day soon. That the Star Wars is family, and that laughter is good for the soul. Because when they called my name and I walked across the stage, I carried you guys with me. I put the Dad Batch patch in my left pocket and Joe's coin in my right. It felt right.
Wow.
Some part of you guys walked across the stage with me at graduation when the podcast has meant so much to me, personally. I don't know what words to say other than thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. I will still be following you guys after the Bad Batch is done and Steven gets tired of editing all the episodes because Joe is laughing at literally anything, and then everyone is crying because they've laughed too hard. When I think back on this time in my life, I will always remember the Dad Batch podcast. This is the May, and may the Force be with you always, Emily.
Hey,
wow,
that's a good email.
I know,
beautiful.
Guys, we did it. We finally got to walk on stage, graduate all together.
We graduated together.
We graduated.
Yay! That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate
great.
you greatly.
Who knew
And,
us
just really cool.
BS
Yeah, that means a lot.
would enrich people's lives.
Thanks for that email. Send your emails to dadbatchpod@gmail.com. We just might read your letter on the show.
Maybe. Just maybe.
I want to clean my gun and be alone with my thoughts. And I don't need to talk about anything else.
How you doing, Brian?
Do you guys know that that's D. Bradley Baker, that he said that specifically for us?
I think he said that specifically for you.
For you, dude. For you.
Yeah.
Well, for Crosshair. But it was sweet. Dude, this...
Well, actually, hold on. Sorry, I don't interrupt you. But since you brought that up, you know what? It just popped in my head right now that he said that to you during Christmas, right after he probably recorded the Outpost.
That is true.
Because he had said to us last Christmas that the only things left to record were the final 2 episodes. That he had read it, he didn't record it yet.
That's right.
That's right.
Very special.
Dude.
Special moment.
Context.
We need to take a vote. Should we make him clone armor or a Zilla beast?
Tauntaun armor.
A Tauntaun, or maybe
Both, bro.
Zillow Beast with a clone riding it.
I saw his name in the
Dude,
credits.
look at Raimi's giant nozzle. We could print a Zillow Beast in like a day.
Only the biggest nozzles.
I'm
That's
sorry,
not
Brian.
millimeter.
Go ahead. This is your thing.
This is my thing.
Yep.
I am all Guardians
Tell us about
of the
Guardians.
Galaxies 3 all the time now. This goes out to Joe, who's seen it, and Steven, who's seen it. Raimi doesn't watch anything until whenever, so it doesn't matter. John, I'm just waiting.
Like, we don't have a good theater here.
I'm just
It's
waiting
like
for him to make time because I know he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it. Thank you, James Gunn. Thank you, Marvel, for redeeming yourself. You've made
does
up
that
for
mean
all the losses? It's a fucking emotional roller coaster.
Brian
dropped an F-bomb in it.
marks the clip.
Does that mean you're on board for the new DC EU with James Gunn?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm like, if that didn't convince you to join that, then the movie must not have been that great.
Trailer looks. It looks.
But the Flash is not James Gunn.
No.
Yeah,
Blue Beetle is James Gunn.
Let me tell you something.
Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Guardians, if you have not seen Guardians 3, let me just be real right now. You need to go see it in the theater. I've seen it twice. I will go see it again in the theater probably.
Dude, I'm going to go watch it a second time, probably in Dolby. The Dolby sound where the seats rumble. Ooh.
It was no less impactful. It stands up to, I'm not going to do spoilers, no nothing. It stands up with the other 3 Guardians films. There is
Well, you said they dropped the F-bomb already, so thanks for that.
Sorry, that's kind of on the internet. So.
That's what I was going to go for.
You know, it's the first F-bomb in Marvel.
I've been waiting to hear the F-bomb, and you just said...
I know you've seen it because you are all over social media.
So Deadpool doesn't count?
I haven't. I didn't know about that.
There's not...
That's a good one.
It's so well written.
Non-R.
The music is amazing. It's a ride. It's a roller coaster.
Well, Deadpool is Fox anyway.
It is probably the best Guardians movie there is.
Or was.
And the Guardians movies are all epic. Although John told me that a lot of people didn't like the second one. I loved it.
That's what I heard. I don't mind any of them. The thing is, I didn't grow up reading those comics, so I wasn't as invested to begin with. So I never gave them the attention I probably should have in general. You know, even with the Avengers, I was kind of an X-Men dude. So, and we haven't gotten anything great from that yet, besides the old movies, which were good in their own right. But with this Avengers level MCU stuff, it's all been Avengers stuff and Iron Man and Captain America, which I didn't read much as a kid either because they were kind of dorks when I was.
I dabbled in comics.
X-Men.
I'm not like a connoisseur like you.
No,
but
it was like it's not that I was kind of sore. It's just that I had a specific team that I liked, which it was all the Jim Lee stuff. You know, X-Men, Cable, Bishop, and all those. Forge. You know, like those
more like BA mutants.
Well, they're all wearing tights. They're all wearing tights. Yeah, but they're all mutants, right? That's the difference. They're all mutants.
But
which I'm for.
I'll say, man, the music is like. Every
Epic.
Guardians movie has been about.
They always
music.
nail the soundtrack.
Every Guardians movie has been about music, and this one's like on level 3. And an awesome thing that my wife Tori pointed out to me was the advancement in the timeline of the music. Like it's generational. It's
gotten better.
Gone into different years, which is freaking cool.
Is it Ragnarok level immigrant song?
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yes,
okay.
There's pretty good, John.
Because that like that epic, you know.
When you get chills, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody had uploaded a video of Florence and the Machine, and it was her watching the movie, and when her song comes on at the end, it was a video of her crying to her own song. Because that's how damn good the movie was,
dude.
Guardians,
yeah, dude. And James Gunn said that he's, because they're doing all the press junkets and everything. He said that the song, it's Dog Days Are Over. Mm-hmm. He's had that in his brain.
Yep.
He's had that song in his brain since he wrote the first movie.
Oh, it was that song. I had heard that story, but it didn't say what song it was. I didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever I was reading. So okay.
It's a good song. Yeah.
You laugh.
So that's the epic
cry,
end fight scene music.
You cry. It's perfection. I'm after I've been very vocal about some of the Marvel stuff that's been coming out, and this thing
you've been vocal about it all.
They put the cherry on top of the Guardian series, and it is so fucking good. So good.
You're making making it
Marks the clip again.
John, I'm telling you. I know you know, and I know it's hard.
Dude, when I can, I've got busy. I'm busy, man.
Listen, if it was, sucking on.
What am I going to do? Go to the theater alone?
Make time for it. You know
what
I mean?
Yeah.
See you, babe. Have fun watching the kid. I'm going to go watch Guardians by myself.
Instead, you're going to watch 77 or 400 Ronin.
You've been tripping.
Yeah, but that's while I'm working in the garage. Yeah, no problem. I can watch 400 verse 1 in the garage because I'm literally.
Wait, John, have you never gone in the movies by yourself?
I have, but I don't often. I guess I could go during the day when I'm supposed to be working.
Let me ask you this: have you ever gone in the movies by yourself since you've had a kid?
Not yet.
Dude, you need to unlock achievement on that. That's
I know. Maybe I will. Yeah. Well, today is Wednesday. Maybe tomorrow I'll go.
I'm telling you,
catch a matinee.
It's worth it. It's so worth it. It's
okay.
Man,
it's been a while since I've seen a 10-10 movie. That was a 10-10 for sure.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Some of the stuff that we've had too, it's been like there's not one thing that. There's one tiny part that I can go, but you know what? The rest of it is so good. I can't even verbalize it. Joe, you've
which
seen
part?
it. Steven,
which part was that?
Offline.
Don't say it. Obviously, I haven't seen it.
That's when you go on the pee break.
It's at the end.
And then
it's at the end.
No pee break today, buddy.
You can't pee during it.
There's a website that'll do that. Like you can put in what movie you're going to see, and it'll tell you when are the right times to go to the bathroom.
And there's not a good time to go to the bathroom in this.
Pro tip.
Because I went to the.
Is it a long movie?
It's 2.5 hours.
It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh shit. Okay, so no drink.
It's good.
I
drink.
Oh, I was.
No, depends.
Nice and buzzed up.
Depends.
I snuck in a flask of whiskey when I went to the first time.
Just pinch one if you got to go.
Of course you did.
Bring some Febreze. Bring some Febreze. And then
what I saw.
Snuck in a 2-liter.
Okay, this is going to be the this is gonna be the
Butter
second-
smell of
Snuck in a
Febreze.
liter of cola and some whiskey.
That's what I
Drank
did.
it all.
Bought a Coke, put it in there.
Woke up 6 hours later. Great movie.
Steven. I got Steven laughing.
When I saw it the second time, I was like, "This is going to be the judgment." of,
Only
like,
got kicked out twice.
how this is. Oh man!
Only
Go
had to
see
sleep
it,
in my
people.
car one night.
Go see it, please. And James Gunn, thank you. He's been
Only-
posting the most awesome behind the scenes stuff. Don't you have some fags to suck on or something? What are you doing?
It's my record. A whole fifth. One sitting. 2.5 hours.
What saw John
Drank it all
three
to the
fags
last
in
drop.
one night?
Oh, jeez.
All right.
rails
Well,
there.
I
Nice
think
guy.
that does it for us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cigarettes.
Oh, no.
Have you been to London?
Oh man.
Wow.
If you enjoyed listening, feed the algorithm, give us 5 stars on your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got weekly episodes, unboxings, reviews, and other stuff. Thank you everyone that's participating into our contest, our road to 1,000 who subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. So if you haven't subscribed already, go to the YouTube channel and do that. You can follow me at stevie.kicks on Instagram, sometimes Twitter. Gentlemen, let the listeners know where they can find you. Joe
Tech.badbatch.
and Rami.
Follow us on YouTube at just search for the Dad Batch on YouTube and follow us there.
And John.
YouTube, the Dad Batch.
Right on. And Brian.
At James Gunn. Thank you.
Thank you again for listening to
DCEU.
episode 39 of the Dad Batch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 40. And until next time, enjoy your spice responsibly.